guys, it's Kiki the Yogi here. I know this is a very trying time for millions and millions of people all over the world. So we're all looking for a way to find some strength and find a sense of connectedness and, even find health that maybe isn't what we thought health was, in the West, which was medication and doing all these, physical therapy or chiropractor visits. And so I know a lot of people are turning to yoga, but people see pictures of yoga and they say, well, I'm not flexible, like I can't do that. What is yoga? And they go to a class and maybe they don't feel welcome at the class because they don't know what they're doing. So I figured I would just make some videos and explain some poses. That way people can feel a little bit more comfortable about yoga and maybe understand more the benefits and how they can approach yoga even if they have some injuries or have these limitations. Because yoga is really for anybody. Yoga is so many different things and can be for so many different people. I mean, it can be for everybody and it will help everybody in different ways, and it just depends how you use it. And I just want to be able to provide some tools to help people access yoga. So today we're going to start with the most basic yoga pose. It is called Sukhasana in Sanskrit. It's basically just easy seat or easy seated pose, or people make it complicated with their legs up, and their different hand positions, but it's just really the first thing you learned in kindergarten and you sat crisscross applesauce, but it's the most comfortable way that you can do it. Because we're used to sitting in chairs in offices, our bodies may not be able to sit in an easy seat. So there's a variety of things that you can do. And the reason why this pose is so important is because this pose, even though it seems simple, it is what gives us the stability and the strength to do almost everything in yoga. It strengthens our core, it gives us flexibility, it improves our posture. It's a very important pose. It also is the pose that you will most likely use if you're going to do meditation and breathing practices. So I highly suggest that you learn how to do easy seated pose Sukhasana right. So if you have knee or lower back injuries, this pose is going to be a little bit more difficult. The best thing to do is to just sit on something. If you have a little bit more elevation, it's going to allow you to do the pose easier. I have a variety of bolsters. This is like a bean bolster, but you don't need to buy, an expensive bean bolster. You can use a pillow, or you can use a folded blanket, or if you have yoga blocks, you can use these. But anything that's going to elevate your hips is going to help you sit correctly in this posture. So you're going to use a pillow. To come into this pose, you're just going to sit down, cross your legs. Doesn't matter which leg's in front, whichever one feels more comfortable for you. Just make sure that when you're sitting, you're definitely grounding down through those sit bones. It gives you that sense of grounding while also lifting you up. The entire purpose of yoga is to give you a good grounding so that your posture and everything kind of comes together. It helps you breathe more easily. It helps your internal organs work more properly. It helps your muscles and your tendons and all your connective tissues to do what they're supposed to do. So once your legs are crossed and you're grounding through your sit bones, you want to elongate your spine. So you want your tailbone, your sacrum, to be in a neutral position. You don't want it tilting this way, but which is towards the front, and you don't want it tilted towards the back, because you don't want to be doing a back bend. You just want a neutral tailbone with your spine elongated, as if you're being pulled up by the crown of your head with an invisible wire. You don't want any strain in your neck. You just want your neck to be an additional elongation of your spine. Your shoulders should be relaxed, and the back of your shoulders, your shoulder blades should be just tucked nicely into your back. You can have your hands on your knees. You can have them down. This is going to give you like a more grounding effect, a little bit more support. Also, you can have your palms up. This is going to allow you to kind of receive or give you a sense of inviting in, some of this energy. You can also have your arms in, Anjali Mudra, which Anjali Mudra is basically, it's our hands pressed together and they're against our sternum. So this is basically a salutation. It's normally in yoga where we say namaste. Namaste is important because namaste really means, I see and honor the light in myself. I see and honor the light within you. I see that we are both divine creatures and we are one, which is really, really important at this time, because we have all these different people trying to classify us, divide us, and we just need to remember that we are all one. And the more connected we are, even if we have different opinions or different ways of thinking about things, like if we can just come together as one, we can make so many productive things happen. Anyways, the most important thing is maintaining that alignment of the spine, making sure that your chest isn't, collapsing or protruding forward. Everything should just be nicely tucked in. And it looks easy, but when you're sitting here for a long period of time, it's not an easy thing to do. It really does help build those core strength that you need to do yoga. If you have a hard time with this, you can also use the wall. So you would just lean up against the wall and do the same thing so that your back is in straight alignment. So really, this is a great pose. You could use it for meditation, just slow breathing, pranayama exercises. It's going to also loosen and stretch, the flexors in your legs and your hips by having them open. If you do have really tight flexors and hips and your knees maybe bother you, you can take blocks or more pillows and you can put them under your knees so that they have some support as well, and that will help. So that's my first pose, and that is easy pose, which is not so easy, especially when you're sitting in it for 20 to 30 minutes at a time. But it's great for reducing anxiety, reducing depression, and building that core strength and that concentration and just that sense of grounded and connectedness that we need. We need to just sit and be sometimes instead of thinking about all these things going on. It's okay to sit in an easy seated pose, and that's going to have tremendous benefits for you and your health at the end of the day. So I hope you enjoyed.